Welcome back to the Personal Experience Podcast. My name is Jules Scott, and this week's episode of the show is helping to demystify and destigmatize the world of sex work. And I have a wonderful guest with me today. She is someone who I have known since my World of Warcraft days. She's a former guildmate from Convert to Raid, an accomplished cosplayer, and she runs her own successful OnlyFans page. I'm so happy to welcome PashaVixen to the show. Hi, girl.
Hello, everybody.
I'm so happy to have you with me to have this conversation. And we've known each other for a long time. I can't even remember how many years now.
Yeah. Them wow days. I miss it. It's been a journey. You've seen it since the beginning.
I have. And I am really honored that you are comfortable talking with me about it because it is something that I really wanted to bring to this audience to really just kind of be honest and upfront about it. And I couldn't think of a better person to do that with than you, because I've seen your journey through the whole part of it to now.
Yeah, I'm actually just accepting this, but it's been wild. like I said, I've always been that person that's just like, I haven't tried it, so I might as well just try it, not always, but yeah, it's been a journey. That's for sure.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning. If you've never met Pasha before, Pasha, can you tell us who you are, where you live, and what you do?
Yes. My name is PashaVixen, but also my actual name is Natasha. I am from the great Northeast of the US. And I play a lot of video games and also create costumes. And that's kind of where the whole sex work started, was via the cosplay industry.
And you have had a really cool cosplay journey, starting from basically zero experience to being frickin' Sylvanas at BlizzCon.
I literally had absolutely no sense of what to do with cosplay, but I loved it. I loved the craftsmanship that people put into their costumes. And it was actually one of the BlizzCons that I attended, and somebody that is a cosplayer was just like, "Hey, why don't you just try it?" And I was like, "What? What? You want me to just try it? How?"
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, just YouTube tutorials. So that's exactly what I did. I went home and did a bunch of research and found awesome tutorials. There's so many out there that are if you're really thinking about doing cosplay, there's so much knowledge for you. And it's amazing that all these craftsmanship. Bleh,
I know what you're saying.
It's amazing. Just all these talented people, they take the time to make all of these tutorials for people that want to try it out.
It's really a community, isn't it?
It is. It's a great community, actually. Everyone's super positive. I mean, there's, the negatives. Everyone has the negatives. But for the most part, if you're aware of the negative people, you can just ignore them and move on with your life,
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, everybody seems really welcoming.
Cosplay is really just a part of your normal life these days. Because I've seen the progression of when you started to do cosplay to now, but it has also become part of your OnlyFans page.
It has. So with the cosplay aspect and with OnlyFans, I've decided to do my big costumes. Before, I had a Patreon where I had a paywall to actually see the progress of my costumes and try to do it that way. But it was a little bit difficult to do that because there are so many tutorials out there that it was just I don't think people really wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few people subscribe to my Patreon, and it was fine and great. But the part that really gave me the income to do this has been the sexy aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
The more lingerie, boudoir, and the creative, taking a full armor and making it just a skimpy little thing. And it's it's actually like a lot of people are like, oh, that's nothing, you know, like you just put on a wig and like a bra and underwear, but it's you get a little bit creative with it, you know, you can get creative with it. And that has sparked my interest in pushing my boundaries as a person that's been suppressed for so long. And now I have the OnlyFans. That is my outlet. So, like, I've managed to be able to keep my cosplay as a hobby. So it's fun and I can share it with everybody, but also maintaining an income to support this cosplay by doing the OnlyFans and also supporting the progress of my sexuality.
Mm-hmm. What was the moment where you let go and said, I can do this? I can pose in sexy lingerie in nothing. When was the moment?
I believe the moment was actually one of my very first like hints of what I was gonna get myself into was I just took a selfie in front of a mirror, and I was like, hey guys, you really think I should start doing sexy content? And it just blew up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, I got my answer because it's just something like I put off for a while because I wanted to just be known for my cosplay and my craftsmanship, which is what everybody's dream is technically. Like as a cosplayer, we want to be known for what we've done
Mm-hmm.
and the hard work that we put into it. But the sex industry is just so huge that like anybody who posts a beautiful, exquisite, full armor costume will only, it's a niche thing. Like it's just a small group of people that would love it. And when they love it, they're passionate about it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, but the sex industry is just a wider spread of people that you're going to get more attention for that, obviously.
Right.
So it's, yeah, like that moment I figured out, I'm like, okay, I think this is where I should be making my money is doing the sexy aspect to support the cosplay aspect.
Mm-hmm. Has there been moments where people who have known you outside of the sex industry, like, I mean, I'm thinking about like all of the people who you've known and with me in the World of Warcraft community. Has there been moments where they've just been like, Pasha, what the fuck are you doing?
So far everybody's been pretty accepting. There's been a couple people that have just unfollowed me, you know, which is fine. Like they're not making a big deal out of it. And they still talk to me when I'm online. Like it's fine. And then I have the people that are just like, I'm gonna support you, you know? So it's a weird line. There's more people in my personal life that have been more affected by it than people on the internet that I've been friends with. And I've also gotten, you know, the toxic masculinity often in my DMs that are just like, you know, what are you doing? You know that you put this stuff on the internet, it's gonna be out there forever. It's like, yeah, I realize that. It's the whole reason why I'm doing this. I've accepted this. Like, it's okay. I'm okay with it. You know, like it's not affecting anybody. It's not hurting people. It's just me. But
the personal relationships, how has that affected them?
so it's mostly like family members. I try to be open with my mom and my dad specifically, and my stepmom. And my dad has always been super supportive. He's like, that's fine as long as I don't want to see it, but like you do you. My stepmom was a little like about it, but then she got curious and she saw all the photos and she's like, you're 33 years old and you're rocking it. Go you. Just I don't want to see it. But she'll often ask like, oh, did you do a non aggressive shoot that I could see? Because I love your stuff. And she's getting a little bit more accepting. And
that
then
just
there's
makes me grin so big. You've no idea.
Right? It's she's growing, you know. She's always like, I grew up, she raised me, my stepmom raised me, and she was a little bit prude as a person. And like this is where the suppression comes in. So she always raised me as like, if I kiss a boy, I'm gonna get pregnant, basically.
Oh, yeah,
like just that type of raising. And then there was my dad, who was like, if you bring a boyfriend here, then I'm gonna threaten him to, like, I'll bury him underneath this porch, blah blah blah, or you're not allowed to have a boyfriend until you're 25, like just all of that stuff.
Yep.
Instead of being like, hey, so you're gonna get older, you're gonna have boys curious about you, and you need to be healthy about this. So, like, teach me stuff. So instead, I just locked myself up, and I was like, nope, I am not gonna date or see anyone or whatever until I'm married. Like, this is what I was fed, and like, I often ended up dating people that were like, you're for me only. Like, if I ever took a picture of me, like, and I felt good, and just like a selfie, like just my face, they would get so insecure and just be like, why are you taking pictures on the internet? Are you looking for attention? And it's like, so what if I'm looking for attention? Like, it's in a way, like, I do like attention in healthy ways, or whatever, whatever the sex work is. It is attention seeking, it is a thing. But that's because I never received this attention in past relationships. Right. So like, that's, but it's also okay to like the attention. It's not a negative thing. As long as you're not, like you said, as long as you're not hurting people, there should be nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Before we started this call, before we started the recording, Pasha and I were talking about our philosophies in life, and we both share the same one, which is, as long as you're not hurting anyone by what you do, then go and do it like, be you.
Yeah, be your authentic self. Don't let societal norms think that they're better than you because you like something. And that's another thing about my OnlyFans, is it's not only a place where I share my boobs and my butt, like, it's a place where people feel safe to explore their kinks and to share stories, and to, like, I don't kink shame. As long as it's not with, like, there's certain parameters, obviously, like, but as long as people aren't hurting people and we're just having a good time, nobody's, if people are being super aggressive, I'm like, hey, so I don't really like aggressiveness in here, but like, I understand you're feeling this certain way. Like, I just try to be healthy about it and approach it in like a chill way without blowing up at them, because I feel like if you negatively react to them, that's when you're going to get the lashback of what is happening with females in the community of sex work, when the whole cancel culture, or like calling out people, like, I can't do that to people, because what I put out there, I put naked photos of myself out there. Mm-hmm. There's going to be men literally being aggressive at that post, like, it's just how you manage that aggressiveness.
Right. And you are expressing boundaries by saying, yes, this is not okay by me. Like, my relation to this is, I'm on dating apps right now, and people don't respect boundaries at all unless you tell them. And what happens to me a lot of times is, like, I can clearly state on my profile, I am not into hookups. I don't want to hook up with you. I'm looking for a connection, but I will constantly have that violated by a bunch of people who just think that they can just barrel their way into, like, I'm going to start talking dirty to you, and you're going to respond. And then when I don't respond, and they go, well, why are you such a fucking prude? And I'm like, I told you that's not what I want. I have no problem if you're looking for a hookup, but you're talking to the wrong person. And I think that people don't understand that specific thing. Like, OnlyFans becomes a joke to so many people. Oh, like, don't you have... It
really does. Yeah.
Don't you have an OnlyFans? And it's like, and Pasha, I subscribed to your OnlyFans as part of the research for this show, and also to celebrate you. Mm-hmm. And I was just like,
thank you. I appreciate that.
You're so welcome. It was beyond. I'm just like, your photos are absolutely stunning. But like, there's people who would be like, oh God, like, you saw my boobs. And it's like, no, like, she put them out there so I can see them.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, I also encourage, because I do have a lot of married couples that are actually like they're aware that their partner is in fact on my OnlyFans, and I encourage like, hey, so as a female, I know that it's really difficult for your woman to ever feel safe to share, like if they're feeling sexy or whatever, like you can share them on here. Like this is a place for you guys to like, for example, I have one couple who the wife seems to be very voyeuristic.
Mm-hmm.
But she's terrified to, she actually went on his account and talked to me about it. She is afraid to send pictures because she's afraid of people on the internet scrutinizing her.
Of course.
Every woman's nightmare, you know? Like, she's like, I'm not as young as I used to be. I'm not as fit as I used to be. But sometimes I get these sexy, like, lingerie and I just want to share it. And I'm like, you can share it here. Like, that's okay. If you want a female hype beast, I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I will hype you up and be like, girl, you look great. Like, look at that butt, girl. You know, like, a lot of people need that. And I even encourage the guys to do it. I'm like, hey, you know, you're feeling yourself. I don't want to see your schlong because it's not really my thing. But like, if you want to, I will hype you up too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I try to encourage extreme positivity as much as I can. With the pandemic lately, it's been a little bit tough mentally for me that my content hasn't really been the greatest. Like, not the greatest, but I mean, like, it hasn't been as whatever.
Creative, maybe? Is that the word you're looking for? Or
Not creative,
inspired?
just,
or
yeah, I guess it's the lack of inspiration hasn't been there.
and that, I mean, suppression and stress is like the killer of creativity.
It really is. And like, it's been a little difficult because most of the stuff that I've been putting out has been all me, like just taking cell phone pictures. And I feel like people don't, maybe it's just my own perfectionism. I don't know. But like, I feel people are bored of just the same old backdrop and like poses and like, there's no excitement to it anymore. Like it's bland. So I started getting like uninspired with like just wearing lingerie stuff. So then I got back into the cosplay stuff, which is my current situation. I am like trying to finish one of my armor builds.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be like sex work in general is, everyone thinks it's easy. It's really not. That's another topic that I would like to talk about too, is like
do it.
the stigma of, oh, you're a girl, all you gotta do is take your shirt off and you get money is bullshit, first of all. It takes a lot mentally to do what we do. 100%. We understand that what we put out is going to be there forever. So we have to look our best. But a lot of times, especially like myself, I suffer, like I don't suffer it like it's not diagnosed. But there are days where I feel like I don't belong in this body, like big time body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
And trying to take photos because you feel pressured to, because this is what you need to do, like it can be really difficult on someone mentally.
Yeah.
And
you have to be in that mental space to feel it. Like
exactly.
If
like
you don't feel sexy, you're not going to portray sexy.
Exactly.
And then you're like, why am I wasting my time?
Yep. And I applaud any of these sex workers out there that are just getting it like every day, like just always on cam, always wearing makeup, just looking great. I have such a hard time managing my time and being able to just look at myself in the mirror and be like, you're sexy and you're going to make content today. It can be really hard at times. And it's like that for a lot of people. There's been friends of mine that have been camming for years that are successful cammers that just they've hit their mental breakdown where they're just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I feel like it's not inspiring anymore. It's not motivational. It's just kind of like blah, you know, and they take a break, which then people start getting angry at them. And it's like, I'm sorry, like, and that's another thing is like, there's people that sometimes go on my OnlyFans that are demanding, that are like, so you said you were going to do some of this stuff. Where is it? Specifically, there's something that I've been working towards, and since, you know, we're going to be open about this.
Yes.
I am trying to work my way into using toys
Right.
as part of my props. And one of the toys is a butt plug with a tail, because I've always wanted to try having a tail in.
Right.
And this is something that I wanted to incorporate as part of my OnlyFans. And that mentally working up to this has been a little hard on me, because this is a mental thing for me, is like masturbation in general is like a private thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also not big into it. So it's hard to want to do it when it's just because people want me to do it.
Yeah,
You
like
know what I mean?
you have to do it because it is something like you clearly want it, but there's a
Yes.
barrier there that needs to be overcome. And
Yes.
what I've seen from your OnlyFans page was that you've posted about it and you've talked about it, which I
Mm-hmm.
know is you working yourself towards it. It's like I'm
Yep.
putting it out in the world and therefore it will happen. But
Yep. It's gonna happen, but it needs to be on my terms, and it needs to happen genuinely, not for you guys. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I've tried to explain. Like, this is my journey. This is something that you've subscribed to join my journey. And if you're trying to skip ahead to the final chapter of this journey, then please just don't do it.
yeah.
Like this is my own outlet. This isn't just for money. This isn't just for anything. This is also for my mentality and like my growth. So it's been nice because I've wheedled those people out.
Yes.
It seems like I've been doing that. And I also kind of took a break from like throwing it out there that, oh, OnlyFans content stuff, it's just I have the people that I have right now until I'm back mentally to start doing things again, like just kind of like using the content that I have. I have so much content, just like from the beginning of when I started doing lewd content. I mean, it's not going to be all topless and all nudity, but it's still sexy to me, like I feel like it still should be shared even though it's old content, but
What's amazing about this is like the parallels. You've been a Twitch streamer, you know what this is
Mm-hmm.
like. The parallels of making content for yourself versus feeling like you have to serve the audience that pays you.
Yeah, that's
there's
huge.
There's a massive line that is interesting in sex work, which is like people think that because it is sex, it is something they can demand.
Yes, and is absolutely not something you can demand.
No,
Like it's if you want. This is my whole what I've said to the people that have subscribed to my OnlyFans. If you want genuine good content, you want the genuine reactions to whatever it is that the people are putting out.
Yeah.
I for like the butt plug stuff, I'm not gonna actually, if you see my content, I don't do like pornographic aggressive things. I try to stay away from that stuff. I do mostly like the girlfriend photo style of like, hey, look, I might like the tease.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that than to do the more aggressive, hey, look, there's my whole flower out in the world. Like it's not something that I would like.
Right.
And that's another thing is like I set boundaries on things that I would like in a way, which has helped me like get comfortable with what I put out. And I've told like anytime somebody joins or have like if they have questions, I'm always there to answer questions and to explain what exactly I do. And it seems like everybody that have had the questions, they get their answers and they chill. And they're just like, oh yeah, this is great. Like I want to explore this journey of yours. This is great. And I mean, people still want the more aggressive stuff, but they'll tell me, and then I'm like, like I'll just flirt with them and be like, yeah, totally, it's coming soon. You just don't know. I'm like, it's the suspense that'll keep you here, and blah blah blah. Like, and it seems to work. So
yeah, because they honestly
they
would
play.
never.
Yeah, and they play along too. They're just like, heck yeah, I can't wait. Like, but I'm gonna stay here until then. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm gonna still do my thing and have fun, and I hope you have fun too. So,
Something I've always been curious about. Do you think that men or women tend to be more critical of sex and sex workers?
ooh, uh, I feel it's an equal amount
Hmm.
on both sides. I really do. Um, Recently with the election stuff, uh, I usually stay away from politics in general. Um, but one of the things that is going around is the whole prostitution making it legal.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, one of my really good friends that I've met through WoW is a conservative. And they were uh, basically saying sex workers are pieces of shit people and need to get real jobs. And that hurt because, like, her and I have been friends for so long, and I don't think she knows that I'm a sex worker because I don't blast it all over her page because I respect the fact that she's a conservative and she's a Christian. So I was like, I'm not gonna push that on her. So I ended up messaging her and I was like, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while and all this stuff. And what you said really kind of hurt because I don't know if you know this, but I am a sex worker. And I'm not trying to tell you that you shouldn't believe what you believe, but also I don't think you should criticize them in that way
Hmm.
because it kind of hurts. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not berating my butt into people's faces. It's just on my social media. I'm like, hey, if you want to, it's there. That's it. You know, like I'm not like aggressive about my OnlyFans. And then she like lost she had no idea that I did that. And then she was like, I didn't realize that, but you have to understand that prostitution is dangerous. I'm like, oh yeah, it's very dangerous right now because it's not regulated. It's
Hmm.
not treated as it should because it's illegal. I'm like, if it was if it was normalized and treated like a business with laws, regulations, there wouldn't be dangers in it. And it would just be another job that, it'd be like, oh, you're a sex worker. Cool. I'm this. And it's just like, it's desensitized.
Yeah. And something tells me that her opinion about the danger is not for the women, it's
Nope.
for the men.
Like I said, she I don't think she understands it very much. And I told her, I'm like, you have to realize that like most of prostitution is run by men. They're they're vicious. They don't treat their their girls at all like in a safe manner. They're just like, you go out and you stand at these streets, I'm gonna watch you. And then they take all the money after they've been like harassed by these like other men.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's shameful.
Yeah.
And then when people think about prostitution, they get this image of like this particularly looking female and they think, oh, she's probably like she's got daddy issues and she doesn't have control over life and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, a lot of women don't,
Hmm.
unfortunately. And then that's when the sex work comes into play, is because that's all that they've known. That a lot of these women were like exposed to sex work at a very young age because it's what they were groomed to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, that mindset just really bothers me, like it's a sad thing.
Well,
And if it's destigmatized and actually made legal, and all of these like illegal prostitution centers and pimp workers, I guess, if they're put in jail, and then it's women, like the women own themselves and are running their own businesses, I think it'd be better. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
yes.
It's
Yes. And that is the actual like that's the crux of it right there is
mm-hmm.
that right now you run your own business.
Yes.
You own your own content. You
Mm-hmm.
choose what you show and what you don't.
Yep.
And
And
that
I want to make everybody aware that I'm in a relationship.
Yes.
Like, I am very much in a relationship. He supports everything.
He takes your pictures.
He takes my pictures. He encourages and he understands. And I'm open with everything. I show him all my messages, especially like if there's really big personal messages from these guys. I don't want to seem like I don't want them to think that I'm flirting with them and to get like this image of me in their heads and to think that like, oh, this girl loves me. You know what I mean? So I always get his opinion on responses to these people so that they don't form these mythical relationships with me, because that is also dangerous, because that does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is something that I love about your partner, is that he is 100% supportive. He's involved in everything that you do. And it is something that he actively helps to support and encourage you, to make you feel validated. And he's great.
He was the one who was like, you need to start take a selfie of yourself in a mirror of you just being sexy and start making content like that. And he's like, I bet you people would buy it. And I was like, no, I don't think there's so many. They can just get, there's free porn sites. I don't think people are going to want to see me naked. It's fine. And he's like, no, you should, because it not only will be good for you, like he said it, and like it not only will help support you, but it'll be good for your own confidence and your own mental health. So I'm like, okay, I'll try it. And yeah, it's helped a crap ton. Like, I am 100% more like I have my, body dysmorphia fits, but I feel more empowered to my own body. If you understand if you know what I mean, like it's
so interesting because, like I'm an overweight woman. I've been an overweight woman my entire life. And one of the things that has been a stigma for me in most of my life is just trying to be comfortable in my own skin.
And it's so hard.
It's so hard. And I've had conversations with women who I feel are like perfect, the body that I would always want. And I hear exactly what you're saying to me, which is I have body dysmorphia. I see myself as ugly. The same issues that I have for my body is what you have for yours. And that was to me one of the most amazing things in my mind was, I am not like, I think women are most of the time feeling like we're in competition with each other.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Everyone's going to be looking at her and not me. And I need to attract this attention away from her. And like, as I've gotten older, I celebrate the women in my life who are out there doing their thing, showing themselves off. Like when I got out of my marriage, that was also a thing for me, was he didn't like me to take pictures of myself.
Yeah.
And I started doing it afterwards, and I'm like, fuck you.
Exactly. Girl, work it. Like,
yep.
And that's like, yeah, that's so empowering when you can just, and it is, a lot of the times it is relationships that, like toxic relationships, that will make you even worse than you want. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I knew what I knew now 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I really do. And I really wish, like, because I was younger then and I could have probably been more successful, but, I don't have regrets. It's fine. I'm doing this in my 30s. And another reason why I wanted to push, to get to where I am now is because I'm not getting any younger, and before the sex work stuff, I worked as a nurse, like an LNA, a nurse assistant.
Yeah.
And every old lady, because I would often just sit in my clients' rooms and just have conversations with them, because it was nice, like getting to know them and like learning stuff. All of them regretted never taking nude photos.
Really?
All of them. It is insane. Like, they're like, they often showed me pictures of them when they were younger, and a lot of them were just like supermodel looking, like women, like the glamour, like it was just really pretty. and just the amount of regret, because in their time, women absolutely didn't have the rights that we have. You know, like it was way darker times, and yeah, like it's pretty amazing how they're like, I wish I did nudes. But
And for themselves, right? To see them.
yep, it's literally just for themselves.
Yep.
And you know, like not everybody, you know, wants to do what sex workers do, but they still want to feel beautiful and they want to feel empowered for themselves. I as someone that used to be that prude person that was like, oh, look at that girl, she must be a slut. Like I used to be that. I used to have that same mindset of like, if I saw a girl prettier than me, I was jealous and I automatically called them sluts.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just how we grow up. We grew up in a very competitive way. But I highly encourage women to just feel themselves. You know, like just if you're having a downtime, or like if you're just feeling even an ounce of confidence, stand in front of that mirror and just pose. Like, and if you need help posing, like there's so many YouTube tutorials to like get your angles and like just have something for yourself.
Yeah.
You don't even need to give it to anybody. And look at that and be like, that is me. That is my fucking body, and I love my body. This is it. Like this is for me. Kind of yeah.
Most of us will look in the mirror and say, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this, I hate
oh
this.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is the thing that you know, and so like one of the things that I have done in quarantine specifically is that even though no one is seeing me, I'm not going out anywhere, I'm not on camera anywhere, I try to make sure that I do my makeup. And then when I see myself in the mirror, I go, you look good today.
Yeah, that's also good. I actually put makeup on today.
Good girl.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm not even on a camera, but like I just felt like I should, so I put makeup on. It's not a lot, but I did a little bit.
And you felt better.
It felt good.
And like the thing that men often think about this is like, well, you men, if you're listening to this, please don't tell us you look fine without makeup. That's not the point. It is never the point.
We do it for ourselves. It's not for anybody in particular. It makes us feel alive. Like we don't look like vampires.
And that just like
that will eat souls.
Yeah. And you know, like this happens to me all the time when I talk to men who are like, I bet you look great without makeup, and I'm like, okay, but that's not the point. Like,
yeah, that's not like I appreciate what you're trying to do here, but also like still appreciate me for putting on makeup because it's effort.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of effort. Please just acknowledge the fact that I put effort into feeling good, you know, like let me have my moment.
Yeah, because if we don't have our confidence, if we don't feel ourselves, as you've so well put so many times, if we don't feel ourselves, then you aren't getting the best person of us.
Exactly.
You aren't seeing us as we are. And this is why I just celebrate you so much. And like when I was younger, I would have had the same things of like, you know, like I am so jealous of her. She's more beautiful than me. She's younger than me. And I don't feel that anymore because it is so important for us to lift each other up and to support each other. Which is just like, it pains me anytime someone who like jokes about someone's OnlyFans is a stigma, or gonna show feet on your OnlyFans, and it's like it shouldn't be a joke anymore.
It's no. And with the pandemic in general, like there's a lot of sex workers that relied on being physical with people that are like, I don't know what to do, and like they can't do that. So then they all started doing OnlyFans, and there's like an influx of it. And there's even people that like aren't into sex work that do OnlyFans, and it's OnlyFans in general isn't just for sex workers. It's literally for anything. It's a creative outlet place, you know, like you don't have to be a porn star to have an OnlyFans. You can just, if you want to just start one and be like, hey guys, since every other social media platform decides that anything that I post is against their regulations, this is where I post now, you know, like it's Yeah, that's another thing that really like upsets us as the sex worker community and in cosplay community. It's affecting that too.
Mm-hmm.
Is social media even shames us?
Yeah.
Like, I get nudity. I totally understand that. Because there's kids that all have Instagram. Totally understand that. But when somebody shares a photo of like an artistic, like implied nude, like that should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see like there's nothing sexual about it. Like if it's just a female and like they're doing a yoga pose and you just see the female figure and it just gets taken down for sexual content, it's like, no, that's art, dude. What are you talking about? Like
Yeah.
it's so stigmatized, and I would love for it to be normalized. I would really love it. It'd be a big win for sex in general. It's a thing for everybody, not everybody. There's people that, have been traumatized by sex and they would rather not talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's a big part of humanity.
Yes. And I mean, a very, very large portion of humanity either wants it or wants to have it.
Yeah,
know?
exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, like, I think having a conversation with my friends about sex is normal. Like, if my friends come to me and they're just like, hey, so me and my boyfriend did this, and I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Like, did it feel good? Like, did you have fun? Like, it was normal. It's a normal conversation. I don't like go, oh, this person just talked about how, you know what I mean? Like, or like, I don't look at her and be like, ew, that's disgusting. Why would you tell me this? TMI, man. Like, it's normal conversation.
But that's how we're raised. And that
Yep.
it comes from the earliest parts of childhood. And I remember, you know, I wish that sex education would begin earlier than it does
Mm.
for kids.
Everybody would disagree with you with that,
I
but yeah,
know.
no, I agree.
They
Like, I feel like the naked body in general should be destigmatized as well.
yes.
Like, it is, you're born with it. Everybody has the same parts. Like, there's nothing like finite or like nuanced about the human body. It's the same. Um, Penetration photos is probably like the most aggressive you can ever get. That's fine, but like someone just sitting on a mountain, because I've really gotten into nudes in nature. I
Yep.
love it. I fucking love it. I think it's beautiful. I think it's natural. It's like what we were made to do. And I would love to do a photo shoot, which actually one of my friends just got one of those drones, the camera drones.
Oh yeah.
And we're gonna be doing like dope like nature nudes where he like flies really high, so you see a lot of the nature and then you just see like my little body just contorted in like artsy ways. um
That sounds amazing.
I'm so for this. Like, I'm so excited. um but yeah, like it's just, it needs to be normalized. Like you said, like I feel like introducing younger people into it and being like, hey, uh and being like obviously talking smart, intelligent things and being safe about it and promoting like men and women to be safe about it, like boys and girls, and be like, hey, so if you see a guy do this, then you should probably, that's a red flag, go away. Or like for men, it's like, you shouldn't do this. Don't like the amount of, this is like off on a tangent, but
Go for it.
the amount of, this has been going around because people are being more open about it. The amount of sex I didn't want to have, like, is absurd
Yes.
with people.
Yes.
Like, and if I ever brought this up to anyone, they would be like, then why did you do it? Because it was the easiest thing to do at the time.
Yes.
Like it's, when you're, most of this was like via friendships. Like, I thought that they were my friends and they ended up trying to get too intimate. And at the time, I was young and naive, and I didn't have the ability to just be like, no, fuck off.
Right.
Because I didn't have that confidence. I didn't have that ability to just be like, no, go away. Like, this guy was bigger than me, and I was scared. So instead of fighting it, I just accepted it.
Yeah.
And the amount of women you can ask that question to, and their response is like, oh my God, so many times I had to do this, is like phenomenal. It's insane.
And even in committed relationships, this happens as well.
Yep, exactly. Like there are days where women just they're having a bad time, but then the guy's like, nope, I have my needs, and since we're in a relationship, I feel entitled. So
Yep.
yeah, it's happened to me before.
Happened to me too. And it's that experience has basically shaped me to the point where, I mean, I'm old enough now that I don't give two shits about offending a man if I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But as a younger woman, I could not have that voice.
Yep.
And I'm sickened by the fact that I didn't have the confidence and the strength to be able to say that is not okay with me.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes me until I'm in my 40s to be confident enough
Yeah.
to say that shit. And it makes me angry. It does, because like now I don't put up with it. But
No, exactly. There's a hard line, hard no
if
there.
like,
Like,
yeah, if you were a teenager or in your 20s and could have said that, like, what would your life have been like?
right? It'd be so much better.
Right.
Like, and like, and yeah, it has to do with a lot of the times, like, we were raised to feel that we were meant to please others,
Yes.
or at least I was, like that's how I was raised. I was always told I should be a model and I should date rich guys and like do this. And I was never told to go to college, that I would be smart and to do other things. And that's another thing, is like a lot of women go to sex work because they're groomed that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of people go into it because they don't see themselves as anything other than like a sex object. And that's again has to do with the societal pressures of what people put on others. Like there are women that may not even do sex work, but men will objectify them.
Yep.
So then they feel like, oh, so I'm just an object. That's all I am. Like we're not just objects. We're people. We're humans. We have feelings. We have other things that we do. Like our looks aren't just everything. Looks fade.
Yep.
But yeah,
It's funny because now anytime someone tries to, like, they match me on a dating app and one of the first things they talk about is my appearance, I'm like, you're out.
yeah. Oh yeah. First, yeah, no.
Because if that is all that it is about for you, then it's not going to work. And
yeah, you're not looking for a longer term friendship/relationship.
exactly.
So,
and and it's flipped on its head when you're talking about, say, an OnlyFans page. Like the first thing they're going to see is your appearance. But what I love about all of it, especially for you, is that you 100% own everything that you do. You control everything that you put out there, and it is 100% all of you. No one dictates what Pasha makes in this content. And I encourage everyone who is listening to this show today to flip your perceptions on its head right now, because
yes,
if you're sitting there and you're saying to Pasha, like, what, like, who hurt you and blah blah blah, like,
I have no daddy issues or mommy issues. They're both in my life still, and like I said, I have boundaries with them personally, but that's because I grew up and understand what they're about. But they've always been very supportive. They've always been loving and caring to me. So it has nothing to do with them personally. It just has to do with the mindset of me being raised to suppress myself. But they did it in a way they thought that they were keeping me safe.
Yeah.
And have hence realized that. And they're like, go do you. We support you. Just be safe and be happy. So.
And the whole safe part is a big thing because, we all, like, I was raised by a cop. He knows what's out there. He knows what the dangers are. And so a lot of that, like, I spent most of my childhood being afraid of a lot of things because my father had seen the worst of humanity. But so, yeah, there's like a tremendous amount of like, we must keep our children safe. But, but it's like, who are we keeping them safe from?
And that's another thing is like, I'm sure my parents weren't like, we want my daughter to grow up to be a sex worker. You know, like I'm sure they wanted more for me, but it this is genuinely making me happy. And that's what a lot of people don't see is like there are people that choose to do this because they want to do it and because they feel happy doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's no, and it's not just women. There's a ton of men out there that do sex work. Like it's not, you know, it's not just a women only thing. There's guys out there that are getting it themselves and it's amazing. You know, and another thing is like there's these guys that, you know, again, they say that we're taking the easy way out and it's not real work. I encourage every single man who says that to just start an OnlyFans. Please, just start one. You can do it. There are men out there. There are people that would pay to subscribe to you. And then tell me how easy it is, because I really want to know. I want to know how easy it is for you, because I would love it to be easier.
OnlyFans.com/PashaVixen, by the way. Go find her there. Tell her yourself.
Yeah, come. You can literally join my OnlyFans and share yourself if you want to. Like I said, it's my profile is it's a safe place. It's not just for me, it's for other people too. Like, and that's what people don't understand is like, I mean, some OnlyFans is about the only person that, you know, it's about them, but go ahead. I'm also pretty open about my mental state. Like a lot of people actually subscribe to me because I'm very open about mental illness and stuff like that too. And there's a lot of people that share the same mental disabilities as I have, and it's a great, like, I feel like the photos do okay in the videos that I send out, but it's the connection that really does it for me, I feel. And I feel people would rather have the connection than the photos. The photos are just bonus. So like ass and titty is bonus to having a friend.
Mm-hmm.
So
do the connections sometimes become like when they become too aggressive? Like have you just had to cut people out and just be like, you're out of here?
I've never cut people out, but I've been honest with them, and I've been like, hey, so it's too aggressive for me. You know, like I said, I try to be open and honest with people, and if they think that, you know, if nobody has been like against what I've said so far.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if nobody respects my boundaries, they get the boot. But so far, nobody's ever gotten it. I did have someone recently post on my one of my pictures of like, you know, she's only here to take your money. You're nothing but like a purse to her, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, that's not what it's about. And also, if people don't want to pay for stuff, they don't have to. It's a choice.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, I'm only one person. There's 100 and something people subscribe to me. No one thinks that I'm there for them personally. And I make sure that people know that. You know, like nobody's there to be like, I'm going to date this person or I'm going to actually have sex with this person. It's, you know, it's not actually a thing. It's the fantasy of it. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm. And
I make sure people know that. You guys can fantasize about it. It's not going to actually happen though.
Yeah. And there's one question I wanted to ask you about this. If you could say anything to someone who condemns you for this work, what do you want them to know?
Honestly, if people condemn me for what I do and then they don't see the real person that I am, I would be kind of sad for that person. I wouldn't tell them or push anything on them just because like it is personal choice and it is personal like opinions, but I would encourage them to just really open their mind a little bit and be like, hey, you know, these are just humans. They're not hurting anybody. I'm not personally hurting anybody. I'm just having fun and I'm actually happy doing this.
Yeah.
But I would never be like angry at them and call them out for being like, you know, a mean person or anything like that. It is personal opinion. Like I said, when my friend attacked sex workers in general. I just said, hey, I'm a sex worker too, and that kind of hurt. Maybe open your mind a little bit and realize that it's not hurting anybody. And I don't think even like religion in general isn't really against sex workers. It's just what people have told people, that it's bad and shameful, but it actually doesn't affect. If there was a higher being, I don't think sex workers would be deemed as Satanism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're not evil. We're not inherently evil. We're not trying to hurt people. And I think a lot of the times it is mostly insecure people that are upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing you can do with insecure people. It has to do with themselves. They need to grow.
You're right. I couldn't have said it better. Is there any last messages or information that you wish people would know to help destigmatize sex work more?
I think we kind of nailed most of it.
I think so too.
Yeah, like I feel like I said, it's all personal perceptions, and I really think people need to understand that you need to, if you are totally against it, maybe question your own insecurities and ask yourself, what about it actually makes you upset? Is it the nudity part? Is it the fact that somebody else is prettier than you, or is it like a projection of like, oh, you wish you could do it? Because if that's it, then maybe give it a shot, try it out. Or even like, if you want to destigmatize it or like just see what it's like, maybe subscribe and support someone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like sex work isn't just about the ass and the titty and the pornographic aspect. There's so much more to it. Like, people form connections, and unfortunately it's not always what other people fantasize about. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would love to be like, I want to be your boyfriend and spoil you, but technically no, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to be your personal girlfriend, and I'm not here to get spoiled. I'm here to explore myself and share it with you, and it is your choice if you want to see it or not.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope that this episode results in some subscriptions to your OnlyFans, because I am now a proud subscriber to your OnlyFans.
Oh, thank you.
And I loved it.
Yeah, like I said, I welcome everybody. I welcome every kink. If you're not there just for the acid titty, I'm here to also talk to you. It's a lot easier for me to talk on OnlyFans than it is on any other social media, just because, and it's not even just because of the money. I have a free OnlyFans too. And I'm not really active on my free one just because I pay more attention to the people that are subscribed.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, like I said, if you want to join my OnlyFans to just talk about something that you can't talk about with normal people, like your kinks or anything, that's what I'm there for.
So tell them where you can be found on all the places.
So I have Instagram and Twitter, and everything is under PashaVixen. I do have a Twitch, but I I stream very rarely.
Mm-hmm.
But you can follow me on Twitch. It is the same, PashaVixen.
Awesome.
And of course, OnlyFans, PashaVixen.
You are a force. I am so just really, beyond excited and happy that we've had this conversation. Thank you so much for sharing yourself.
Thank you. I'm glad you're interested.
Absolutely.
Like I said, it's been a little difficult to, especially with the community that we've been a part of, where everybody is like more like, we can't swear here, blah blah blah, and then I'm over here like, hey guys, I'm Pasha. Here's my butt. I'm sorry. Oh, also I play World of Warcraft, so there's a screenshot. Like, it's my entire Twitter is all over the place. Like, I haven't been able to grow it because I think I'm all over the place with it. So yeah.
It'll come.
I did make a more safe for work version of my Twitter where I just share screenshots of games, but I've had like a few people join it, but they are also still on my other one. So it's like, I think at this point people don't care, which is great. And I'm Like I said, anybody in the CTR community that's listening, I'm still the same Pasha. Like, there's nothing different. You just see a butt here and there. I'm
Yep.
sorry.
And don't apologize because it's a great butt.
Thanks.
It's gorgeous, you guys. If you haven't seen it, you gotta go see it because you know what? Celebrate and lean into it. And that is my
Yes,
endorsement
and
to you.
I very much try to keep my more aggressive stuff only on my OnlyFans. I like to share like the ones that I find my favorites. I'll share that stuff, but for the most part, all of my more aggressive, lewder things are always on my OnlyFans.
And you should check it out.
Yes.
Pasha, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. And
Thank you for being interested. Like
Absolutely.
I said, it's tough. It's very tough.
Well, hopefully we've made it less tough for you.
Yes.
And again, please reach out to Pasha if you have questions. As you can tell, she is open and honest and wants to help you understand more about what she does. Pasha, thank you again.
Exactly. Thank you.
I want to say a special thank you again to Pasha for joining me for this really informative episode. If you'd like to nominate or suggest a guest or a topic that you'd like me to cover, you can reach me and the show in a few ways. You can reach me by email at personalexperiencepodcast@gmail.com. You can tweet at me, Jules RPG, or the show at personalexpshow. This show is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Pocket Cast, YouTube, and Direct Feed. Thank you again for listening to the Personal Experience Podcast. Seek understanding, feel empathy, connect to one another. I'll see you next time.